How's it going, YouTube? Patrick back with Team Bolshevik. Been a while since we've done a video, I know, but this is a special edition of Redefining Broken. I'm going to talk about cards that are going to lose some value, cards going to get a little bit worse, and cards going to get a little bit more expensive and better in the next format. This format that we are leaving now, we are in the transitional period, is pretty good in comparison to where we're headed, I think. I don't need to say anything about this. I'm not going to review the ban list. But anyways, take a look at this card. Sealing Ceremony of Catan. Once per turn, you can banish one fire monster from your graveyard to target one card in your opponent's graveyard. Banish that target. Continuous trap card. This is a really good common out of Orcs, Order of Chaos. The reason why it's really good is because of Laval. While it won't be getting pricey, I would recommend not throwing this card out when you open your packs because people might want it in the future. You never know, side deck stuff. Continuing with Laval's, a deck that I'm planning on building, you should probably look at getting a hold of these cards. Fire Dog and Rekindling are kind of old now. They're from Ancient Prophecy. Might be hard to get your hands on. Rekindling is actually pretty expensive at $5. Boost Warrior is a super rare that people have probably chucked in their dollar binders, which is really, really good in the deck. And Flamvell Magician is just another old card from Hidden Arsenal 1. The reason why I would recommend picking these up is because this is going to be really cheap right now, I would dare say, and because these three cards people might not have easy access to. So, I mean, Rekindling's always been pricey, just common is $5. Fire Dog's always been really good, Magician's always been really good with Fire Dog. I mean, whether or not you choose to run these in your Laval build, they're all really good in and of themselves. And I would predict that Boost Warrior for sure, and probably these other three cards, definitely Rekindle, are going to raise in price quite a fair bit. Not with Laval, but having to do with Laval, Elemental Hero Nova Master. I feel like this card's going to raise in price because Laval exists. Have an Alias out on the field, Super Poly with Fire Dog or whatever, Laval, Stinkrow, doesn't matter. You have this, and this is an underrated card as is. What it does: if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, draw one card. 2,600. That's really good, in my opinion. Once again, it's something that most people will probably have chucked in a discount binder. It's not very expensive right now. If you're running E-Heroes, you should have it anyways. But because Laval is coming out, it's going to be good. It's just going to be really good. Weed Out. I talked about this card before, and I'm actually serious now. I'm going to side deck this in this format because windups. Fucking windups. They need to die. This will shut down windup plays left, right, and center. I mean, it's not a chain D, but it's really good. It's a really cheap common. Like, nobody runs this. It's from Elemental Energy. Pick it up. I'm going to recommend it, but, you know, it's up to you. I'll sing the praises of this card. I think it will really hurt windups. Torrential. If you have hollow Torrentials, keep them. They're only going to rise in price. If you want hollow Torrentials, it might be a little bit too late. They might have already risen in price. But definitely, if you're looking to bump your rarities of Torrential Tribute to get Hobby Leagues, Supers, Ultras, whatever, do it now, because I feel like this card is kind of meh at the moment. People are looking at it and go like, oh, to 2. That's fair. I'm looking at it and going, oh, to 2. That's fucking stupid, Konami. Why would you do that? That's broken as shit. Field wipes? Yeah, sure, let's have more field wipes. So definitely pick up this card if you're looking to get it now. I can only see it rising in price. Lumina. Standard rare Lumina. I feel like that's going to rise a little bit in price, maybe $3 or $4 in the pocket. Ultras will obviously be a little bit more. Lightsworn stuff is already risen, but I feel like you should probably get rid of those cards right now. I'm going to say that. Unless you're building the deck, unless you like the deck, if you have Secret JDs around, this is probably going to be the peak price. Unless Light Lords really do make that big of a difference, I can't see Lumina 2 making that big of a deal in the meta that we're heading into. Hand Drop is going to slaughter this deck. Insectors, like JD's not going to stay on the field with Insectors. With Dolka out, you can't do very much except for attack over it and then let it die the next turn, probably. In fact, Rescue Rabbit is probably going to be the best matchup for Lightsworns right now, and that's saying something. because it's not overly good. If they can get a first turn Logia out, then you're kind of fucked. But yeah, these cards are going to rise in price until the first YCS of the format, probably, when Lightsworns don't get a top 32. Then they're going to fall back down, at which point you should pick them up again, because in the next set Galactic Overlord, everything will rise back up in price with the Light Lords. It's a topsy-turvy roller coaster, but these guys are going to fluctuate a lot. And now I have 3 generic wind-up cards. These represent wind-up factories, which are in the team binder, which I don't have right now. Wind-up Factory is really, really, really good. Get your hands on them, because they're relatively cheap right now. At the end of this format, wind-up builds will have to use them, because that hand drop thing is most assuredly going to get nerfed. It has to. It just has to. So, Wind-Up Factory is already really good. Pick it up while it's cheaper now. If you're looking to build wind-ups for the long run, there's still going to be a really good deck after they lose hand drop, and this Wind-Up Factory, not these cards, Wind-Up Factory is going to be a really important part of that, so I would recommend picking it up now. Interplanetary Purpley Thorny Dragon, IPPT. Everyone is saying how good this card is, but nobody's running it. It's almost a Gores and Trag at 3. I mean, it's really good. And it is a short print, so get your hands on it, because somebody's going to make something chaosy or something good that runs this, and it's probably going to jump to $5-6. I mean, it's a really good common, and it's hard to get. Chain D, the ever important, the most integral card in an extra, or in a side deck, I think. Last format, it was really good. The format before, it was amazing. This format we're moving into, it will be the best card to have in a side deck. It's going to Ash Rape Windups, it's going to Ash Rape Insectors, it's not going to do anything to Bunny, but it's going to really hurt Lightsworn too. And Chaos, and if plants still are around, it's always going to hurt plants. Like, the amount of good that is this card, it's hurting 2 of 3 best decks in the meta right now anyways. Pick it up. You have to pick it up, because I can only see it rising in price. It's not going to fall, that's for sure. Now, that represents a generic rank 3. I'm not saying that Levier is going to go up. I'm saying pick up Acid Golem, which I don't have right now. But Acid Golem is insanely cheap. What it is, it's the 3000 attack, rank 3. During one of your phases, I can't remember, detach a material or take 2000 damage. It's really cheap right now, probably because of the 2000 damage thing, but if you let a 3000 beat stick sit on the field for 3 turns, so you take your first damage off of that, then you've probably won, unless you're facing Stall. But definitely get your hands on an Acid Golem, and hell, Levier is always good too. Things that will drop now. I'm sorry to say, Gladbeast players, but the deck's not doing anything. If you have the Hollow Glads, like those nice shiny ones that came in Legendary Collection, I wouldn't think twice in dropping them right now. Everybody hauls out their Glads at the beginning of the format, everybody knows that, and they're not going to do very much. I really like the deck, it's a good deck, but overall in the meta, I wouldn't rely on it at all, and I can only see the price of the hollows for these cards dropping. Sad story, but true. Plant things, Glow Up. I'm going to miss you, Glow Up. But plant stuff, unless it's Dandelion, I mean, drop it. If you can get rid of a Lone Fire Blossom, get rid of it right now. If you can trade Glow Up bulbs to people, do it. I can't see Glow Up coming back. Spore's probably not going to come back either, actually. But if you have your Hollow Debris, if you have your blinged out Ultra Dandies and your Super Lone Fires, I think you have to get rid of them, because you're only going to lose dollars. That's sad, but it's true. Effect Veiler. Standard rares, ultras, whatever, what have you, they're really, really expensive right now. I would get rid of them for the supers that are coming this week, I think. If you can get rid of them, get rid of them. I traded one for $20 the other week there, and I was really pleased with it, because I'm only going to get a rarity bump. Oh, this makes me really sad. If you have blingy agent cards, i.e. Secret Christia, it's time to get rid of them. I can't see any variant that the deck will have as being competitive enough to top tables when we have windups and sectors and rabbit. And those are the decks to beat in this format. which is really sad, but unfortunately, Christia has to go for me. It's a secret Christia. It's got to leave. I'm sorry. Christia is always going to be splashable, so if you have those, then you're going to be a little bit fine. They should still hold their value. Hyperions and everything like that, if somebody makes you an offer on them, take it or leave it. I mean, they weren't very expensive anyways, but if you have any other blingy stuff that was used in your agent deck that is specifically for fairies, I can't think of anything, Gelen Duo maybe, consider dropping it because they're only going to fall in price. Scrap Dragon. I'm going to make a risky assumption. Scrap Dragon is going to be reprinted. That's just kind of a fact, actually. That's not even an assumption. That's going to happen. So if you can go a little while without your Scrap Dragon, if you feel like you can do that, then sell it now, pocket those $50 that you'll get, and then go out and buy a box of whatever else it's going to get reprinted in. It's really sad that they're going to reprint all of D-Rev, but I know this card is going to be reprinted because every single card gets reprinted. I mean, it's only a matter of time now. I'm not going to get rid of mine, but I want mine. I want my nice gold lettering. To those of you that don't have this card, just give it some time. I mean, really, it's a matter of months at this point. Battle Pack, Battle Pack is coming. I'm betting it's going to be in there. Something I have to talk about now, but I don't have, so I'm just going to do this. Max C. You have to get rid of that card, because that will be in Battle Pack. It's been well over a year since Storm came out. The card's $100 and some odd right now. There's no reason for it not to be reprinted in Battle Pack. The set's like 500 cards, is that right? I've already got mine up on eBay. There's no reason not to get rid of it. Unless you're going to tournament play, you know, obviously keep it, but I've got mine up and I feel safe having that $100 bill on eBay because it's going to sell. People will buy it. And I'm going to go have a common 3 months later. I will bet you money. Not really. Next card I'm going to talk about, Hyper Librarian. This didn't really see impact last format. Not really. With the rise of Xyz and Xyz getting better and better and better and Synchro's losing support, there's not a lot of point to have this. It's fairly expensive right now. It's 20-some odd dollars, I think. The only deck that this is going to hurt in this format is probably Gustos and Laval's. And if plants can pull themselves together like always, then plants, of course. But it's a really good 5-star, but I mean, you have Cataster, you have Android, which are both cheaper in comparison. Cataster's a staple anyways. Yeah, I'm thinking about dropping mine, but I can only see it falling in price. If I keep it, it's just because I want one. And last but not least, Trish. I'm talking less about Trish, but more about Mistworm and that other Ally of Justice 9-star thing that is stupid. I synchroed for Trish the last time in this format yesterday in the tournament. It was a really sad moment. It did good. It got a Gotchi off the field. It got Glow Up Bulb out of the grave, I think. And I can't remember what it hit in hand, but it did good. It field cleared, just as it was supposed to. Bye, Trish.